Even everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, the one and only, the often imitated, never duplicated backyard superstar Tim Vicious. And doing a Tuesday one, Thanksgiving's coming up, so want to go and get that out there, and also want to get also want to let you guys get a last little shot of me looking all nice and big and sexy before I wind up stuffing myself stupid and from eating too much turkey. Alright, so ladies, by all means, go ahead, take a minute and endure this. Alright, now that's done. Survivor Series pay-per-view roundup. Before I do, I gotta get a few things off my chest. One, I was extremely disappointed, not with just the pay-per-view, but the crowd itself. I've been a huge supporter for the Boston crowd. They ain't nowhere near the Philadelphia crowd or Chicago crowd. Because Philly and Chicago, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have people disagreeing with me on both sides here, saying which is better, but I'm partial to Philly because I grew up in the Philly crowd. Philly and Chicago, we always go and fight toe-to-toe to see on who could be the top dog for rowdiest wrestling crowds. Just for US. UK is in a league all their own. But the crowd sucked. The crowd was pretty much almost dead for a majority of the show. And if anything, the show, as far as the show itself, I give it a 4 out of 10, which is saying something because normally I'm pretty decent on the pay-per-view scores. This felt more like I was watching Monday Night Raw as opposed to watching a pay-per-view. It was piss poor booking and extremely bad on build-up for any of the matches because you only gave us so little time to work with. You gave the guys so little time to work with. Huge disappointment on that. I don't even feel guilty on the fact that I wound up using First Row to watch it. And normally I do, but this time I don't. Anyways, now on with the show. First match of the night, it was actually a Survivor Series match, one of two, which is actually a shame considering that Survivor Series should actually have more than just 2 Survivor Series matches. This is coming from a guy who was a tag team, who spent most of his time in the ring as a tag team guy. It's sad to see that. It's sad to see that the tag team division is being treated like such a joke. You book any random set of people for tag team matches, and you barely give any kind of hype or build for a Survivor Series match itself. It's really bad, and it's really sad. But the match itself, it was Cody and Goldust, the jobbers, the Usos and Ray coming back versus the Real Americans and the Shield. Now, they did very little build-up for this match itself, short from having Ray do a surprise return on Monday Night Raw. And other than that, there was no build-up for the match. So how can you have a traditional Survivor Series match when you have team such and such versus team such and such? That's my opinion. Anyways, match was fairly okay and fairly entertaining, and I emphasize on that part. The best part of the match, hands down, was when Roman Reigns was in, and he wound up eliminating 4 guys just on his own. It was just him. And Roman Reigns wound up being and I'm not trying to coin WWE sayings, but he was the sole survivor for his team, and he won the match. Very nice to see, which case that right there just showed he's going to be getting a push, and I called it this time last year. Roman Reigns, he's going to get a push like Batista did. And that I would really like to see. You know, I would have liked to have seen if they'd had at least Reigns and another member of the Shield be the survivors, but beggars can't be choosers. Big thing that I was really impressed with seeing aside from that was what Reigns was the trash talking he was throwing at Ray when Ray was in the ring, because while he was down, he was throwing these little jabs, and I'm like, come on, did you come back just for this? Huh? Did you come back just to get your ass kicked? Yeah, shit like that. That's good, and it's good to see because you need to have some kind of communication in the ring to keep the fans interested, aside from just the in-ring action itself. Next matchup, it was Big E versus Curtis Axel. Big E had the Intercontinental title on the line. It was nice seeing that title around Big E's waist. My big concern is, as far as when he comes out, the powder that he keeps slapping. Considering that he gets a huge pop from the crowd, I don't think you want to do a wellness policy test on him, on what that powder may be. Anyways, that was it was a good match. It didn't have that wow factor, which I'm not putting a knock on the guys themselves, because Axel and Big E wound up putting a good show on. It's just it didn't have that wow factor, like, okay, this is a pay-per-view, I should give a pay-per-view quality match. Instead, it just felt like it was like a regular Monday Night Raw match, and that they booked that at the last minute, like, okay, we need something to put on there to chew up like 10 minutes worth of time. Big E, Curtis, you guys are going to have a rematch. And that was it. But obviously you know who won that. Big E did. That wasn't really going to be much of a shocker, you know. Next up, the other Survivor Series match. The ST Divas versus the Island of Misfit Toys, we'll say. Because the other ones were the ones that couldn't get on the ST Diva show. This was just... If it wasn't so sad to watch it, it would have actually been rather funny to see it all go down. I didn't like the match one bit. I was... Ugh. It was like watching... I can't even say it was like watching a train wreck or a truck get jackknifed. You know, because those are at least semi-interesting to watch. This wasn't. You know? For the love of God, WWE, why not? Here's an idea. If anyone from WWE is watching this, here's an idea. Take a page out of Shimmer's book and actually have your women wrestlers actually wrestle. It's not that hard to do. You know? Hell, for crying out loud, several of your girls wound up making it into PWI's top 50 this year. You know, it's not like you can't have them go in the ring and compete. It's just you make them go and have them do the stupidest things. And it makes no sense, and it's insultive, because in all honesty, if I had a daughter and she grew up watching that and thinking that was real women's wrestling, I'd wind up having a brain duster almost every other day because of it. Be like, no, that's not wrestling, honey. This is real wrestling. And then I'd show her. I'd wind up showing her like the Lipstick and Dynamite documentary. Wind up showing her old 50s women's wrestling where they wore the one pieces and the hair bun up. Shit like that. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing it. Anyways, next thing you know, after that match, Aces and Goldberg, Skip Sheffield, oh, hold up. I'm gonna get this right. Ryback came on out, issued an open challenge, wound up saying who can take down this big man. Then next thing you know, cue the music, cue the lights. Out comes Mark Henry. He made his return. It's good seeing Mark back. Looks really creepy with bald head and a long beard. You know, getting ready to expect to see him. Getting the way he looks right now, next thing you know, you're going to see the Wyatt family start to get politically correct and have a black man in the group. Alright, yeah, that's the offensive joke of the week. Go ahead, let it roll, people. Anyways, he came back. It was nice seeing Mark Henry back. I've always been a fan of his. Always been a fan of him. He looked good. He looked like he slimmed down. You know, he's been pumping a lot of cardio, dropped some weight. He did a lot of good. It was fairly good, and contrary to what anyone thinks, Mark Henry can wrestle for a guy his size. It's just, you know, don't go thinking that don't go thinking that a 500 plus pound guy is going to be able to move around like CM Punk or Daniel Bryan. You know? Biggest shock was the fact that Henry wound up doing a crossbody, because all I could think is getting hit from a 500 plus pound man with a crossbody. It's gotta feel like getting hit by it's gotta feel like like having a house drop on you. I felt sorry for Ryback when that happened. Anyways, Henry won the match. It was impressive to see. It was good to see. I really hope that they give Henry a good, decent run this time. I know, according to the sheets, he signed a 2 to 3 year extension on his contract, and he even got a pay raise on it. You know, my big thing is I just want Henry to wind up getting a good push. You don't even need a title because, like I said last week, guys like Roddy Piper, even though he was Intercontinental, Jake Roberts, you know, the list can go on and on. You don't need a title to be a top tier guy. I mean, case in point, aside from Roddy Piper and Jake Roberts, look at Ricky Steamboat back when he was in WWE. I'm not talking about his matches with Flair and NWA, but him with Steamboat's run in just WWE itself. He wound up showing he could be a top tier guy. And he showed that he was. He was in my book. He was and is in my book. You know, as far as with his matches with Flair and the NWA title win, that itself stands the test of time. You know, but either way, next matchup, it was World Heavyweight title match. Del Rio versus Rise Above Cena. Cuck Fina. I'm gonna get this problem taken care of, I swear. Cena. Now, big thing they were trying to push before that was Cena was talking to one of the docs in the back saying, no, I don't want to wear the sleeve because it'll be a mindset thing, you know. And woo, yay, you're no longer going to wear the sleeves so that way you can't have the people think you're doing it. And you're going to try and convince the fans that you're not doing a Jedi mind fuck. You're not impressing anyone, Johnny boy. You know, how about this? When you go and do a Tokyo death match where you have C4 lined around the ring, barbed wire ropes, thumbtacks, and all that, you know, like Terry Funk and Mick Foley did. If you can go and you do 3 of those, and you go and you pull matches like that out once a week, then I'll be impressed. Then again, I'd also like to see you wind up getting bled. Then again, I'd also like to see him bleed like a stuffed pig from those matches, but that's just me. Anyways, and I know I talk a lot of shit like I just did about with Cena, and I also say a lot of shit about with Del Rio. Del Rio's a good wrestler, he just has a bad gimmick. He got handed a bad hand with his gimmick, that's what it is. They do give some pretty half-decent matches. I will say that much. You know, I kept seeing Del Rio focusing on the arm, you know, and I was really hoping Sandow was going to come out just so that way they could wind up pushing him with a feud, you know, in some kind of way, saying that he still has the title in his mind, saying that he still sees himself as the uncrowned champion, and they should do that, you know, something along those lines, because Sandow wound up showing that he can be a top tier guy, even though he's already moved up a couple levels. Considering he cashed in, even though he lost, he still showed he's a top tier guy. They got him feuding with Ziggler. You know, they just need to give them two on-air they just need to give them two some mic time now to help push that feud. But anyways, Cena wound up winning. Big shock. Woo. You know, the best part of that match was the anti-Cena row that was like 2 or 3 seats behind the people right by the barricade. That was it. Anyways, match of the night in my book right here: CM Punk and Daniel Bryan versus Owen and Harper from the Wyatts. This match was the only pay-per-view quality match I saw, in my opinion anyway. And which is sad to say, because, like I said, this was a pay-per-view. You should give pay-per-view quality no matter what. If your guys can't deliver for that, then you need to reevaluate your talent. If your talent can't give pay-per-view quality matches on a pay-per-view, then you need to reevaluate your talent. Have your pay-per-view guys perform on pay-per-views. Have your TV guys perform on TV. Once the TV guys start to show that they can pull off pay-per-view quality, then move them over. Something like that. That could work. You know, just something along those lines. Give the fans what they want. Because this was extreme. It's sad. Anyways, it was a good, decent match. It was really nice seeing. And I don't know about anyone else, but I get freaked out anytime I hear Harper doing the yeah. Please tell me I'm not the only one that does. Because like I said before, with the Wyatts, they have that creepy cult mentality mindset, and they're the best character-driven guys that they have on the roster. And they remind me so much of the Godwins and the Hillbillies from Deliverance. You know? And the match itself, it was fairly good. I absolutely enjoyed it. You know, everyone wound up hitting their atypical high spots. Punk and Bryan got the win. You know, not much of a, well, I can't say not much of a surprise, because it really could have gone either way. But next thing you know, main event of the night, it was Randy Orton versus Big Show. In which case, all I can really think is, why Big Show? Vince McMahon said it himself. Big Show hasn't been a hot commodity since 1998. Now, I got nothing against Big Show himself. It's just he's not a big draw. And the match itself was, in all honesty, I would have rather have watched Brock Lesnar versus Bill Goldberg than watch this match. And that's saying something, because the Lesnar-Goldberg match absolutely sucked. You know, and you could definitely tell that the crowd was not behind this match, because they were chanting boring, Daniel Bryan, and they were doing yes chants. Now, as much as they keep on trying to bury Daniel Bryan, they can't. They showed that a couple of indie schmucks can run the big giant of the wrestling world. You know, I hate to break it to WWE, but David has literally slain Goliath. The indie guys are taking over. You know? But it